In the punishing heat of Luangwa, silence is the herald of death. A single misstep is paid for in blood. The boundary between life and death is no wider than the blink of an eye. Hunter and prey alike wager everything they have. Such is the brutal, unwritten law of the wild. The fierce sun hammers down upon the Luangwa River like a ribbon of liquid fire, yet beneath it, the water still flows, slower than in years past, but patient, ever patient, nourishing both its banks. It courses through the heart of this valley like a main artery, sustaining every living thing in its reach. More than 60 species of large mammals and 400 species of birds share this single stretch of wilderness, yet not one of them exists in isolation. All are bound together by invisible threads. Evolutionary relationships hidden from the naked eye. Yet it is precisely these connections that determine who lives and who perishes each time the dry season descends. In 2023, El Niño unleashed upon Zambia the most punishing drought in 2 decades, stripping away the very water upon which every creature depends. Deep in the heart of the parched valley, a pride of lions lies utterly motionless beneath a canopy of brittle, skeletal leaves, only the occasional twitch of an ear betraying their presence. The lionesses carry out more than 90% of all hunts within the pride. The males intervene only when the quarry is too large or too dangerous to bring down alone. Seven out of every 10 hunts end in failure, a ratio that holds remarkably consistent across every lion population studied throughout Africa over 5 decades of research. Under the blinding light, their tawny, earth-toned coats become a masterpiece of biological camouflage, dissolving their forms entirely into the scorched grassland. Today's midday target is a giraffe, the tallest creature on land, and yet, paradoxically, the most conspicuous beneath the open sun. Their towering silhouettes stand fully exposed, transformed into unmissable targets across the bare savanna. To understand how this killing machine operates, one must first witness how a lion pride turns the searing heat itself into a meal that feeds the entire valley. A westerly wind carries the scent of the giraffe herd directly toward the waiting pride, a fatal betrayal by the breeze that the quarry remains utterly oblivious to. The giraffe's colossal frame drifts squarely into the pride's killing zone. The noose tightens. A flanking lioness cuts off the retreat, driving the target into the dead center of the ambush. In just 12 seconds, the tallest creature on the savannah is brought crashing down. Patience, rewarded at last, after countless days of fruitless pursuit. The dominant male strides forward to claim the first portion, an assertion of rank as old as the species itself. The enormous spoils that remain will sustain the entire family for the next 2 days. But this successful kill belongs to far more than the lions alone. The scent of blood travels on the wind, and in South Luangwa, wind carries news faster than any legs ever could. Each turn of this wheel feeds another tier of the ecosystem, and the elephants are doing something no other creature in this valley can. Trunks and feet plunge into the dry sand along the empty riverbed, each excavation astonishingly precise. Small wells are slowly taking shape in the middle of the parched river channel, groundwater seeping up gradually from beneath the sand, enough to drink but never enough to waste. Elephants locate underground water through the exquisite sensitivity of their trunk tips, combined with a spatial memory of water sources mapped across previous dry seasons. This knowledge is passed down not through instinct, but through observation and imitation. An elephant well persists for days after the herd has moved on. Smaller species drink freely from them, transforming each modest excavation into a cross-species lifeline in the depths of the dry season. The eldest elephant carries a priceless map of water sources within her mind. When she dies, that survival memory vanishes forever. As the herd departs, the wells they leave behind gradually run dry, robbing dozens of other species of their sole chance of survival at the very peak of the drought. To the east of the lion territory, a vast herd of Cape buffalo, hundreds strong, trudges onward beneath the merciless blaze of the dry season. The entire herd relies on collective strength, forming an impenetrable wall of razor-sharp horns against every would-be predator. This tight-knit unity is their most fundamental survival strategy, shielding the young and deterring any killing machine that dares approach. Yet the cruel, relentless heat of the dry season slowly drains the herd's stamina, and their pace begins to falter. As temperatures on the savanna surge to their peak, the iron discipline of this mighty buffalo herd is put to its most severe test. A handful of aging bulls can no longer keep pace with the column and are forced to fall behind. They separate voluntarily, wandering off in search of food, trading the absolute safety of the collective for a few mouthfuls of green shoots and whatever scarce water remains. Stripped of hundreds of watchful eyes and the protective wall of horns, mortal danger closes in around these solitary individuals. Without the herd's shelter, the risk of death for a lone buffalo on the open savanna skyrockets to its highest possible level. This isolation is a golden opportunity the lions have been waiting for. A lone buffalo is no longer an unbreakable fortress. Though lions typically avoid hunting under the scorching midday sun, their opportunistic instincts will not allow them to ignore such a prize lumbering past. The lionesses strike in a blur, swarming around the enormous fighting machine and clinging on with everything they have. Razor teeth clamp instantly across his muzzle, channeling all their force to smother his breath. But that indomitable mass of muscle surges upward without warning, flinging the lions aside in a spectacular reversal of fortune. Utterly spent, the pride can only stand gasping as their defiant quarry walks away. The buffalo's miraculous escape is the clearest possible testament to the savagery and the perpetual unpredictability of the wild kingdom. The lions are left empty-handed under the blazing sun, but beneath the surface of a shrinking lagoon, another battle for survival has already begun. Nile crocodiles have existed on this earth for approximately 200 million years. They have endured 5 mass extinctions. Even the asteroid that obliterated the dinosaurs could not erase them from the record of life. A crocodile's sex is determined entirely by nest temperature during incubation between roughly 89 and 91 degrees Fahrenheit, produces exclusively males. When nest temperatures exceed 93 degrees, the proportion of females climbs above 80%. Males grow rarer with each breeding season, and competition for mates intensifies dramatically. African fish eagles at the remaining lagoons achieve their highest hunting success rate of the year from a height of roughly 100 feet. They calculate the angle of light refraction through the water's surface before committing to their dive. The fish eagle's underwater hunting technique has been honed across millions of years of evolution. Each plunge is an exercise in physics that a remarkably small brain executes in a fraction of a second. But those same lagoons have become battlegrounds where two giants are locked in a territorial struggle, hippos and Nile crocodiles, squeezed into the same diminishing space week by week. Hippos secrete hipposodoric acid, a reddish-pink fluid that absorbs ultraviolet radiation across a broad spectrum. It functions as a biological sunscreen, encoded by evolution over millions of years. Nor hipposodoric acid contributes a potent antibacterial property. It shields every open wound on the hippo's thick hide from infection in the bacteria-laden, parasite-rich waters of the dry season pools. The shrinking lagoon forces hippo and crocodile into an ever tighter shared space. The crocodile simply lacks the energy reserves to confront a creature twice its weight that defends its territory with the widest jaws on the river. But pressure does not come only from the giants beneath the scorched grass, and within the dark crevices of the rocks. An entirely different force waits with patient precision, armed with a weapon that size alone cannot measure. The cheetah is the most spectacular acceleration machine on the planet. When it unleashes a full sprint, no creature on the open savanna can easily escape. Its elongated, flexible spine coils and uncoils like a steel spring, continuously propelling the body forward in great bounds. Non-retractable claws dig into the ground like track spikes. The long, muscular tail acts as an aerodynamic rudder, maintaining balance through every sharp turn. A respiratory system, like a wind turbine, floods the muscles with oxygen, sustaining this biological engine at maximum output. Cold, sharp eyes sweep across the grassland, locking onto every flicker of movement from miles away. But today's quarry is a formidable adversary in its own right. The African ostrich is a bird of colossal power. Its sustained running speed over distance is enough to exhaust any pursuer. This creature possesses panoramic vision and an acute instinct for danger at every turn. The ostrich's massive, powerful legs harbor a devastating counterstrike. A single tyrannical kick from those limbs can kill even a lion in an instant. Its enormous frame and sweeping stride make it a mobile fortress, extraordinarily difficult to overcome. But today, the cheetahs are not hunting alone. They have changed their tactics, forging a coalition that will catch their quarry entirely off guard. They understand that together they can bring down targets of staggering size. From a distance, the male ostrich spots one of the cheetahs, but he believes there is only one. Then, without warning, all three appear at once. It takes the coordinated effort and combined weight of all three brothers to bring this powerful bird crashing to the ground. Some hunters are born with overwhelming strength. The cheetah gambles its life on a few seconds of absolute perfection. Pack tactics are not merely a weapon for toppling giants. At the very bottom of the food chain, collective solidarity is the only shield that keeps the smallest creatures alive against the forces of death. Under the scorching African sun, this is the very first lesson of survival, the one that decides who lives and who dies. Meerkat pups begin their schooling. Their classroom is a searing patch of sand beneath the savanna sun, where every lesson could be the last. Lesson 1. Dig for prey beneath the sand. Lesson 2. How to handle a venomous scorpion, using a precise stinger removal technique taught step by step by the adults. But Lesson 3 is the true boundary between survival and extinction, the lesson about an enemy that cannot be fought alone. A Cape cobra possessing the most potent neurotoxin in all of Africa materializes before a young meerkat separated from its clan by only a few yards, yet far enough to die. One against one, the odds tilt overwhelmingly in the serpent's favor. A single drop of neurotoxin is sufficient to extinguish that small life within minutes. But the venomous hunter has forgotten the supreme law of the desert. Meerkats never act alone. Every escape route is sealed shut. Overwhelmed by sheer numbers, the deadly serpent has no choice but to retreat. Venom is useless when the enemy closes in from every direction at once. Under the parched savanna sun, the young meerkats have learned the most important lesson of their lives. The supreme weapon for defying the desert is not venom, it is family. Spotted hyenas are nothing like the cowards legend has made them out to be. They are formidable killing machines that forge their own kingdoms. When the clan descends upon a half-finished carcass on the savanna, the devastating power of their jaws is revealed in full. The most powerful bite force in all of Africa crushes even the sturdiest bones with ease. Hyena society operates under a ruthlessly strict matriarchy, where females hold the supreme power of life and death over the entire clan. The lowest ranking female still outranks every adult male without exception. That piercing, laughter-like call is not amusement. It is a complex signaling system, encoding hierarchy, strength, and intent to attack. This social structure and iron discipline transform them into an impenetrable battalion. The African wild dog is the only canid on the planet with exclusively four-toed paws. The vestigial fifth toe, found in all their wolf and dog relatives, has vanished entirely. Thanks to this unique foot structure, they sustain speeds of roughly 30 miles per hour over more than 3 miles, without breaking stride, an endurance that far surpasses every other wild canid. Their hunting success rate of 80% is the highest among all large predators in Africa, 3 times that of lions. Yet the IUCN estimates only around 6,600 mature individuals remain worldwide. Africa's most efficient predator is also its most critically endangered. Before every hunt, the entire pack conducts a vote. By sneezing, each sneeze counts as a ballot, determining whether the pack sets off or continues to rest. When the sneeze count reaches the threshold, the whole pack rises simultaneously and launches as though an invisible command has swept through them. No barking, no visual signal required. The alpha needs fewer sneeze votes than other individuals to trigger a hunt, but lower-ranking members can override the decision if enough sneezes reach the threshold. They consume their prey at astonishing speed, leaving virtually nothing for scavengers or any opportunistic species further down the food chain. Amid a savanna teeming with danger, the towering canopies of ancient trees serve as the impregnable fortress of the leopard. Possessing extraordinary muscular power, this predator can haul a carcass heavier than itself up into the highest branches with ease. This is a survival tactic found nowhere else in the animal kingdom, shielding its meal from the greedy jaws of hyena clans and the brute force of lions. At the ideal height, a coat dappled with rosette markings dissolves completely into the mosaic of light and shadow cast by the canopy. From this silent throne, Cold amber eyes survey every minute movement across the vast terrain below. It waits, draped across a branch, calculating every footfall of its quarry grazing innocently below, utterly unaware that death is suspended directly overhead. The gnarled branches serve not only as a perfect watchtower, but as a superb launch pad for lethal aerial strikes. This phantom harnesses gravity itself to deliver a killing blow in the blink of an eye. When the moment is ripe, the death blow descends in a flash, without a sound, locking onto the target with absolute, unerring precision. To protect its prize, razor-sharp teeth clamp around the neck of the carcass, often weighing more than twice the hunter's own body. Only when the carcass is safely draped across a secure fork can the Lord of the Shadows settle down to savor its bloody feast in peace. And when the hunt is done, the branch becomes a cushioned bed, where the Lord of the Shadows lets its body go limp, sinking into an undisturbed afternoon sleep. This absolute mastery of three-dimensional space has made the leopard the most silent and successful assassin in all of wild Africa. Yet beyond the dense canopy and closer to the water's edge, life takes on an entirely different form. The greater kudu stands in silent stillness among the riverside thickets along the Luangwa, its elegant frame poised beneath the morning light. This is one of the largest and most magnificent antelopes bound to the wilderness of the South Luangwa Valley. The dry season withers the grass, yet the kudu persists in the riverine woodland, strips the only remaining source of fresh foliage. Their bodies are large, yet their long, slender legs are exquisitely adapted to navigating the tangled scrubland. A coat of greyish-brown, interlaced with white vertical stripes running down the flanks, creates superb camouflage among the dried branches. Mature bulls carry enormous spiraling horns, iconic weapons wielded during the mating season. When danger strikes, the kudu utters a hoarse, bark-like alarm call, and the entire herd instantly bolts into the thick wall of bush. The ability to weave through tangled vegetation with spectacular leaps is the shield that protects this antelope. Along the riverbank, a kudu herd moves as silently as ghosts through the tree shadows, avoiding the scorching midday heat. As dusk descends, they cautiously approach the edge of the Luangwa, sipping at whatever precious water remains. But the kudu are not the only residents clinging to this lifeline. Southern carmine bee-eaters appear along the banks of the Luangwa like vivid flames, bringing a mesmerizing beauty to the landscape. Their unmistakable signature is a splendid, deep crimson plumage crowned with a cap of turquoise. These dazzling colors make them one of the most striking bee-eaters and insect-hunting birds in all of Africa. Carmine bee-eaters are masters of flight, possessing extraordinary aerobatic and aerial hunting abilities. A long, slender, razor-sharp bill allows them to snatch a bee or grasshopper mid-flight with effortless precision. They are intensely colonial thousands of nests, woven together, forming a kingdom of fire. Using their sturdy bills, they excavate tunnels reaching about 6.5 feet deep into the steep cliff face to create nesting chambers. The flock surges ceaselessly in and out of the cliff face, creating a scarlet tornado swirling around the riverbank. Nesting on vertical cliff faces is a brilliant advantage, keeping them safe from virtually all ground-based predators. Throughout the dry season, the banks of the Luangwa become a bustling, raucous city of these busy winged flames. Along the Luangwa riverbank, marabou storks perch motionless atop leafless trees, silently surveying everything below. A bald head, a pendulous red throat sac dangling beneath, they look as though they have stepped straight out of a horror film. Yet standing nearly 5 feet tall with a wingspan of roughly 10 feet, they rank among the largest birds on the planet. Many call the marabou the ugliest bird in the world, but nature has no interest in beauty. That bald, featherless head prevents blood and bacteria from clinging when they feed on animal carcasses. It is a perfect design, refined over millions of years of evolution, ugly in appearance, but supremely practical and effective. Marabous are nature's great sanitation workers, often appearing alongside vultures at carcass sites, patiently waiting their turn. In flight over the Luangwa Valley, the marabou tucks its neck back, its enormous dark silhouette gliding slowly across the sky. From above, sharp eyes scan the dried grasslands, searching for any carcass below. When landing, they spread their great dark wings wide, extend their legs forward, and touch down heavily, like a vintage aircraft. In the feathered kingdom of South Luangwa, the marabou stork is the very emblem of pragmatism and death. Beside a remnant marsh, still holding water in South Luangwa, a grey-crowned crane spreads its wings, its golden crest blazing in the light. This is the national bird of Uganda, yet here in the Luangwa Valley, it stands with equal pride. The grey-crowned crane stands over 3 feet tall, moving with an effortless grace, each step as delicate as a dance. The stiff golden crest atop its head is unmistakable a symbol of nobility itself. Two crimson cheek patches and a vivid red throat sac compose a portrait of striking color against the yellowed grassland. To maintain that resplendent and flawless appearance, the grey-crowned crane devotes much of its day to the meticulous preening of its plumage. This painstaking grooming is not merely vanity, it strips away dust and the parasites that would otherwise take hold. Despite their imposing stature and regal bearing, these birds remain extraordinarily vigilant against every disturbance around them. They rarely venture out alone, always moving in flocks to ensure absolute safety from predators. In an intact ecosystem like South Luangwa, drought does not create new survival mechanisms. It is merely an extreme catalyst, forcing secrets encoded in DNA over millions of years to reveal themselves before our eyes. These roughly 3,500 square miles do not merely protect individual species. They safeguard the space for the web of relationships between species to continue functioning. A primordial ecosystem that cannot be replicated by any breeding program or any zoo. South Luangwa is achieving what most other reserves cannot, sustaining adaptation within its limits. Climate change is altering the environment faster than evolution can keep pace. In places where ecosystems have been pushed beyond their threshold, the entire system collapses. On the Okavango Delta, the water is gradually drying up, heralding a brutally harsh dry season ahead. To escape the scorching heat, the hippo herd is forced to crowd together in the few remaining shallow pools. Amid this cramped and perilous environment, the mother hippo decides to bring her calf back to rejoin the herd. The moment she steps into the water, the mother hippo is immediately confronted by the massive dominant bull blocking her path. With a fierce protective instinct, the mother hippo bravely rears up her snout and growls defiantly, refusing to yield as she claims a safe position for her calf. However, the real threat comes from another hippo within the herd, none other than the mother hippo's own older offspring from a previous litter, bearing battle scars all over its body. Driven by curiosity or jealousy, this larger hippo suddenly and aggressively lunges forward, biting and shoving the young calf underwater. Without a moment's hesitation, the mother hippo immediately charges ferociously at her own older offspring to rescue the panicked calf. After the tense confrontation, the mother hippo is forced to lead the calf to the outskirts of the herd to ensure absolute safety. Though lying apart in the quiet shallows, the mother and calf can still monitor every movement around them. Despite their sluggish and gentle appearance, hippos are in fact one of the most dangerous species in Africa. However, in this moment of peace, the hippo herd simply savors the water in silence. Leaving behind a rare portrait of tranquility on the savannah before the true life and death confrontations begin. After the hippo herd finds a moment of peaceful calm in the waters of the Okavango, the journey of survival continues to unfold in spectacular fashion. Leaving the waterways of the Okavango, the journey heads eastward across Africa to Lake Bogoria, nestled along the Great Rift Valley where violent geothermal activity persists to this day. On the lakeshore, underground springs boil and erupt into columns of frothing white water, sending plumes of steam billowing into the air. Against this harsh and ethereal backdrop, flamingos still congregate in numbers, reaching into the millions on the alkaline lake surface. The abundant volcanic minerals transform the lakebed into an ideal environment for cyanobacteria and algae to thrive. It is this rich food source that draws millions of lesser flamingos, blanketing the water in a dazzling sea of pink. Flocks of flamingos continuously take off and land, slicing through the curtains of steam rising from the hot mineral springs. When breeding season arrives, the flamingos begin performing an extraordinarily unique collective courtship ritual. Thousands of flamingos stretch their necks high, turning their heads repeatedly and marching in synchronized formation in a mesmerizing dance. The cohesion and rhythm of this collective dance helps flamingos find mates as quickly as possible. Yet the appearance of flamingos at this alkaline lake remains one of the most wondrous migration mysteries of the Great Rift Valley. Depending on unpredictable fluctuations in the lake's water level, the lesser flamingos may suddenly take flight en masse, vanishing completely into thin air. Then, when environmental conditions shift, millions of lesser flamingos abruptly return, once again illuminating this harsh volcanic landscape. Leaving behind the dreamlike pink hues of the alkaline lake, the Serengeti savanna opens up ahead 12,000 square miles of grassland stretching to the horizon. Where life and death confrontations never keep anyone waiting long. On the sun-drenched savanna, lions do not choose the strongest prey. Lions choose the slowest prey, the old, the sick, the young separated from the herd. The predator's selection, ironically enough, makes the prey herd stronger with each passing generation. But sophisticated tactics do not guarantee success. 75% of lion hunts end in failure. And the clearest proof of those failures often comes from a species that appears clumsy, yet carries within it a masterful survival instinct. Under the savanna sun, a pride of lionesses and their cubs spot a warthog family busily foraging. Sensing imminent danger, the mother warthog instantly sounds the alarm, herding her piglets into a desperate sprint toward their familiar burrow. The warthog's trademark cunning is to always back into the burrow rear first, pointing its curved, razor-sharp tusks outward to form a solid defensive shield right at the entrance. But the lion pride does not give up easily. They converge and surround the burrow entrance, completely overwhelming in numbers. With innate patience and strength, the lionesses begin using their paws to claw and dig through the hard-packed earth, determined to drag the warthog family out of their shelter. It seems death is closing in on the warthog family. But they are in fact the master engineers of the grasslands. Seizing the moment while the lion pride focuses all its attention on the main entrance, the warthogs suddenly burst through the earth from the side tunnels. Despite mobilizing the entire pride in an all-out chase across the open grassland, the lions are left utterly helpless before the astonishing speed and nimble dodging of the warthogs. The siege that seemed like a guaranteed victory for the lion pride ultimately ends empty-handed. The lesson for the hunters: every prey animal on the savanna carries its own weapon of survival, whether it be speed or cunning. In stark contrast to the lion pride's empty-handed outcome against the warthog's cunning, the wild also witnesses brutal clashes erupting among members of the same species. Leaving behind the underground burrow systems, the journey takes us to sheer basalt cliffs, where a troop of Hamadryas baboons has taken refuge high above. Unlike primates, living beneath the gentle shade of forest canopies, Hamadryas baboons have built an extraordinarily complex and ruthless hierarchical society right on treacherous terrain. They live in large troops of up to several hundred individuals, subdivided into smaller family units governed by dominant males. Each morning, the Hamadryas baboon troop collectively leaves the safety of the cliffs to begin foraging on the arid ground below. Despite individually possessing formidable strength, Hamadryas baboons still prioritize moving in large troops to form a solid defensive shield against threats from the wild. With over 1,000 individuals potentially gathered in this area, a large-scale territorial war is inevitable. When the clash subsides, the family groups begin to reassemble, and the troops' order is immediately re-established under strict control. On these harsh cliffs, herd cohesion and rigid internal discipline are the only weapons that allow Hamadryas baboons to survive successfully. A rare, fleeting moment of calm returns, leaving a brief pause amid the fierce heartbeats of the brutal race for survival. As the midday sun begins to scorch the earth, the savanna opens up for an entirely different survival strategy, where speed is the weapon that decides everything. A coalition of cheetahs is silently observing a herd of wildebeest. Hunting oversized prey is typically a lethal risk that most cheetahs avoid entirely. Within the group, a few inexperienced individuals remain. If they carelessly spook the prey, the hunt is guaranteed to fail. Knowing this, they obediently stay behind, surrendering the life or death front line to the single most experienced cheetah. Approaching from downwind, the cheetah carefully weaves through every tree trunk and patch of dry grass to close the distance undetected. When the moment arrives, the cheetah's body uncoils like a spring and launches forward. Its terrifying acceleration allows the cheetah to rocket to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. It reaches maximum velocity before the wildebeest herd even realizes death is bearing down on them. With a single lunge, the cheetah leaps onto the prey's back, using every ounce of tenacious skill to wrestle the wildebeest to the ground. Just one kick or one stomp from the heavy wildebeest would be enough to end the cheetah's life. But the cheetah proves its extraordinary power, clamping down and locking its jaws around the prey's muzzle until it stops breathing entirely. Only then do the others timidly step forward to share in the well-earned feast. In the brutal world of the Serengeti, to survive, cheetahs are forced to shatter every evolutionary limit to become specialist killers of large prey. In complete contrast to those high-speed, energy-burning chases, another predator chooses the opposite survival strategy: absolute patience and invisibility. A leopard silently presides atop a termite mound, surveying the world it intends to conquer. Its panoramic vantage point helps it lock on to the target, a herd of impala grazing leisurely not far away. The leopard is the ultimate solitary hunter of the Savannah Kingdom. No pack, no allies, and absolutely no warning growl. Its lethal advantage is not explosive speed from the very first second, but the ability to blend completely into the surrounding environment. A single small sound and the impala herd would panic and flee, but the leopard moves like a weightless ghost. When the prey has entered the kill zone, the silence instantly detonates. The leopard bursts from its hiding place, delivering a lightning-fast pounce and wrestling the impala to the grass. The hunt ends swiftly, with victory belonging to the invisible one. However, on a savanna teeming with competition, bringing down the prey is only half the battle. Keeping it is the real test. That is why instinct compels the leopard to use the raw strength of its jaws to haul the heavy kill up into the towering treetops. This arduous behavior exists because of one singular pressure: the brutal thievery of spotted hyenas. If spotted hyenas did not exist on the savanna, the leopard would never need to stash its food in the trees. It is the relentless threat from spotted hyenas that has forced the leopard to evolve into the savanna's only arboreal predator. Your enemy shapes your instincts more than you realize. On the savanna, the one who threatens you is also the one who forces you to rise. But if speed belongs to the cheetah, and invisibility belongs to the leopard, then across this vast, sun-drenched grassland, another hunter possesses a weapon more ruthless than all the rest: endurance and absolute pack unity. The African wild dog pack sets out, spreading their formation evenly across the vast savanna to launch a relentless pursuit hunt. The target this time is a panicking wildebeest fleeing for its life. Without needing to hit maximum sprint speed like a cheetah, the African wild dog's survival secret lies in its non-stop relay running tactic. The moment the lead dog begins to tire, the next one surges forward to take its place, continuously maintaining suffocating pressure on the prey. Through seamless coordination and boundless endurance, the African wild dog pack successfully subdues the prey right on the open grassland. With a hunting success rate exceeding 60%, the highest on the savanna, they prove that teamwork is the pinnacle of the art of survival. Closing the tense and brutal moments of the chase. The African savanna seems to breathe a sigh of relief, returning to a quiet and serene space. Far away from the noise of the ground, a family of giraffes is strolling leisurely. With an outstanding height of up to nearly 19 feet, giraffes are gentle giants. Bearing an elegant appearance, like the aristocrats of the wild kingdom, their colossal stature allows them to enjoy a world of their own. Where there is no fierce competition for food like low-level herbivores, their characteristic long neck helps them easily reach the soaring treetops, gently plucking the soft, young leaves. Their long tongue skillfully wraps around each layer of leaves without being hurt by the sharp thorns. Each step of the giraffes is graceful and slow, creating a rhythmic dance amidst the vast sea of grass. Even when bending down to drink water, an action requiring extreme caution, they still maintain an incredibly calm demeanor. Without competing or clashing, the members of the herd quietly take turns, keeping watch, giving each other absolute trust. The presence of the giraffe family gathered around the canopy creates a beautiful picture, in complete contrast to the hectic pace of survival around them. Their serene aura is not weakness, but their way of blending into the endless and gentle flow of nature. Sharing that same peaceful atmosphere right beneath the feet of the giants. Another elegant creature is also leisurely enjoying the slow pace of life. The flock of grey-crowned cranes appears with brilliant plumage, adorned with a bright golden tuft of feathers on top of their heads like an authoritative crown. Unlike the noisy and busy flamingos by the alkaline lake, the grey-crowned cranes choose a more free and silent life on the savanna. They walk across the grassland on long, slender legs, each step so gentle as if not wanting to disturb anything. The pair of grey-crowned cranes always accompanies each other as a symbol of bonding, leisurely searching for grass seeds and small insects hidden in the brush. Occasionally, they stop, letting out deep, echoing calls, like a gentle greeting sent to the vast sky. The grey-crowned cranes perform highly artistic courtship dances. They spread their large wings, curve their proud necks, and dance rhythmically in absolute harmony with their mate. There are no thrilling chases, no bloodshed or threatening growls. Both the giraffes and the grey-crowned cranes find their own rare peace. Yet, the gentle serenity of the giraffe family, or the dance of the grey-crowned cranes, is never eternal in a land where life and death always go hand in hand. The energy on the savanna does not flow in one direction alone. It is constantly reversed by a fearsome force. Beneath the sunlight filtering through the grass blades, a clan of spotted hyenas silently watches every movement on the savanna. Each adult spotted hyena can weigh up to 176 pounds and sprint at 37 miles per hour. Contrary to common misconception, Spotted hyenas are extraordinarily successful hunters and rank among the most efficient predators in all of Africa. They operate a complex matriarchal social structure composed of multi-member clans. Where the dominant females hold supreme power and pass down their royal status to the next generation. Possessing superior intelligence and deep family bonds, spotted hyena mothers devote years on end to nurturing, protecting, and interacting with their young. But on the battlefield, it is collective, coordinated warfare that transforms a spotted hyena clan into a living nightmare. From cheetahs, leopards, to African wild dogs, no species is safe from the sweeping klepto-parasitic pressure of the spotted hyena clan. When they rally sufficient numbers, spotted hyenas will readily encircle and drive an entire lion pride away from its kill. The perfect combination of hunting prowess, opportunistic scavenging, and the ability to process bones down to the last fragment has transformed the spotted hyena into the ultimate nutrient recycling machine of the ecosystem. A creature that embodies strength, resilience, and sacred maternal devotion, truly deserving of the title of queens reigning over the wild. Though spotted hyenas are cunning and ruthless hunting machines, on the Serengeti savanna, there are still creatures that never submit to their siege tactics. Across the vast Serengeti grasslands, a herd of Cape buffalo is on the move. Cape buffalo carry within them unparalleled power. Mature bulls can weigh up to 1,500 pounds and stand nearly 6 feet at the shoulder, while the cows also possess formidably massive frames. Most fearsome of all is the head, bearing a fused horn boss spanning nearly 5 feet wide, forming a solid bone shield that protects the entire skull. The Cape buffalo herd's defensive formation is unlike that of any other herbivore on the savanna. Calves are always in the center, cows surround them, and mature bulls guard the outermost ring. However, in one fleeting moment, a mother buffalo and her calf are accidentally isolated from the main formation. Yet the panic reflex to turn and flee has been completely eliminated from the Cape buffalo's genome through millions of years of natural selection. The mother Cape buffalo does not retreat. With agility and a fight-to-the-death resolve, the mother buffalo pivots continuously, forming a massive living shield that shelters her calf, huddled tightly beneath her belly. Receiving the distress signal from the distance, the entire buffalo herd comes thundering in like a tornado. They do not hesitate. Their formidable formation with those deadly horns charges straight into the siege to reinforce the mother and calf. The weapon of family, sometimes, it is not just about the sheer size of the herd, but the willingness to sacrifice everything to protect the young. That is the priceless weapon that forces even the most tenacious predators on the savannah to back down in retreat. If the Cape buffalo uses family as its last stand shield against the spotted hyena clan, then across the vast savannah, another survival strategy operates through sheer numbers and journeys spanning thousands of miles. On the Serengeti grasslands, a herd of zebras appears. Possessing extraordinary navigational ability, the zebra herd strides across the parched grass to enjoy their meal. Across the plains, countless other families of plains zebras are also streaming in, joining the peaceful atmosphere of the migration season. Within the herd, a pregnant plains zebra mare has endured a long and arduous journey to be here. Miraculously, beneath the tranquil sky, a newborn plains zebra foal is nestling close to its mother's legs. The mother plains zebra leisurely grazes on the nutrient-rich grass to produce enough milk to nourish her tiny new life. The distinctive black and white stripes on the plains zebra's bodies interweave amid the sea of green grass, creating a visual effect that blends seamlessly into the landscape. Combined with their exceptionally sharp eyesight, the plains zebra herd easily monitors every disturbance around them to keep each other safe. It is this gentle family bond and enduring migratory instinct that has allowed plains zebras to sustain their lineage across millions of years on the African motherland. In the sun-scorched wilderness, another brutal survival battle begins. Young African ostriches are bravely striding across the grassland that stretches endlessly to the horizon. The African ostrich is the largest bird on the planet, standing up to 9 feet tall and weighing over 300 pounds, towering like a lighthouse amid the sea of wild grass. Under the blazing midday sun, the ambient temperature rapidly soars. To shield the chicks from the scorching sunlight, the African ostrich patiently spreads its wings wide, casting a canopy of shade for the young ones to huddle beneath. Yet the African ostrich possesses the largest eyes of any land animal, along with extraordinary vision that allows it to detect movement and locate water sources from a distance of many miles. Never fooled by mirages, the ostrich family perseveres in leading the chicks to a freshwater spring welling up from the parched earth. Here, they mingle with herds of antelope, plains, zebras, and countless other herbivores gathered around the life-sustaining water source. And when a predator appears, rather than panicking and fleeing or charging into a brutal fight, the African ostrich maintains a surprisingly calm composure. Despite possessing such a fearsome defensive weapon, the African ostrich still chooses to live peacefully, strolling leisurely beneath the savanna sun. The ostrich's serene presence offers a gentle respite, a moment of calm amid the brutal portrait of survival in the wild kingdom. Though African ostriches and plains zebra herds may find brief moments of tranquility on the sun-drenched grasslands. The survival journey of herbivores across the savanna kingdom has never paused before its deadly traps. The most brutal challenge lies at the Mara River, churning with muddy sediment, where steep, sheer banks drop away and beneath the surface, an ancient killing machine already lies in wait. The Nile crocodile, a colossal reptile reaching up to 16 feet long and weighing over 1,100 pounds, when the wildebeest approach the water's edge, death silently slithers forward. With a single lightning-fast lunge, the crocodile rockets out of the water and locks its jaws around the victim. It immediately unleashes the death roll, spinning the prey through the water in a violent barrel roll. This is the most ancient killing technique still in existence on the planet, belonging to a perfect ambush predator, so refined that it has needed no improvement over the past 80 million years. However, The Mara River is at its peak flood, and the current is raging. Sometimes, the sheer force of the waves crashing against the rocky rapids throws the crocodile off balance, causing it to lose its grip and allowing a fortunate young wildebeest to scramble to safety on the bank. But the true river crossing erupts when tens of thousands of wildebeest and plain zebras can wait no longer and surge en masse into the raging current. The river surface explodes in white foam, the thunderous crashing of water and the panicked cries of the wildebeest echoing across both banks. No matter how numerous and brutal the Nile crocodiles may be, they can only seize a tiny fraction, while over 1 million other creatures continue to climb safely onto the opposite bank. The wildebeest's hidden weapon is not its horns. Not its speed, but sheer numbers, sharing the risk until nothing can stop the entire herd. That is not idealism. That is the mathematics of survival. The pitch-black night rapidly swallows the Serengeti savanna, banishing the oppressive heat and unveiling the most ruthless battlefield under the dim moonlight. While most other predators must rest, the lion pride continues hunting through the night thanks to a special reflective layer behind the retina. However, tonight's adversary for the lion pride is no longer the usual antelope or buffalo, but a herd of African elephants, the colossal beast that dominates the land. Under normal circumstances, lions very rarely confront African elephants, but in the most desperate times, it is the only option for survival. The target the lion pride is eyeing is the young African elephants, sheltered deep within the herd. Sensing danger lurking in the darkness, the adult African elephants immediately lock their formation tight, forming an impenetrable grey wall to shield the young. A few isolated African elephants attempt to intimidate, but the lion pride, large in number and trained to become true elephant hunting specialists, holds firm. They patiently shadow the herd, continuously harassing and exploiting the cover of darkness to fracture the African elephant's attention. When one African elephant missteps and separates from the herd's protection, the lion pride instantly seizes the moment and surges forward with full force. Using their numerical advantage, the lions take turns charging in and using their combined body weight to bring the elephant crashing to the ground. spectacular nighttime takedown delivers a colossal prize to the lion pride, enough to sustain the entire pride for an entire week. This tenacity and ruthless tactical prowess prove that, when darkness falls, the lion remains the undeniable true king of the wild kingdom. On the wild savanna, the struggle for survival is a brutal arena where nature never takes anyone's side. The hunters ceaselessly refine their killing skills, from the explosive speed of the cheetah, the absolute stealth of the leopard, to the relay endurance of the African wild dog. Lions and spotted hyenas even maximize their ruthless pack tactics to overpower massive African elephants under the cover of night, or to sweep across and dominate other predators on the grasslands. Yet the laws of nature have proven that prey does not merely flee. They always wield individual, collective, and familial weapons to answer back against millions of years of evolutionary pressure. The warthog's cunning exploitation of its burrow system and the Cape buffalo's ironclad family shield defense have time and again forced even their fiercest enemies to retreat. Meanwhile, wildebeest and plain zebras operate a survival strategy of strength in numbers, using mathematics to distribute risk when facing the ancient killing machine of the Nile crocodile. Every creature has established its own unique rule of survival, from the iron discipline of the Hamadryas baboon, the bravery of the hippopotamus, the vigilant instinct of the African ostrich, to the wondrous migrations of the flamingo. Evolution has equipped the hunters with speed, stealth, endurance, and intelligence, while simultaneously granting prey sharp horns, powerful kicks, overwhelming numbers, and even self-sacrifice. This survival arms race has raged for millions of years across the face of the earth, yet the line between winner and loser has never been absolute. It is precisely this fragile balance that transforms every creature's survival story into an extraordinary epic, illuminating the most magnificent heartbeats of the natural world. Thank you for journeying with WildVerse to listen to the magnificent heartbeats of nature. And subscribe to the channel today so you never miss the next expedition of discovery. Dawn has yet to graze the acacia canopy, but atop a termite mound rising 3 feet above the plains, a silhouette already stands motionless. The topi, the first sentinel of the Masai Mara. horns curving gracefully backward, 4 hooves firmly planted on the cracked earth. Its eyes slowly sweep across the sun-bleached stalks below. The topi ranks among Africa's swiftest antelopes, capable of reaching 45 miles per hour in a full-tilt sprint. Yet velocity is not its sole advantage. Laterally positioned eyes grant nearly 360-degree vision, the reason an entire herd entrusts its survival to a lone individual on a mound. From this vantage, the topi spots what the ground obscures, a pale, tawny shadow shifting deliberately through the tall western grass. A lioness. An alarm snort rings out sharp and concise, piercing the air like a starting pistol. The herd erupts, scattering in every direction within an instant. The Masai Mara, an expanse of over 580 square miles in East Africa, where each sunrise yields more than light. It ignites the eternal clash between predator and prey. However, this savanna does not belong exclusively to the lions. Every inhabitant here, from a vigilant topi atop a mound to an ostrich delivering a skull-shattering kick, possesses a unique survival protocol forged in blood and instinct. And that doctrine contains but a single edict: never surrender. For the topi, every surviving day carries the weight of a generation. Females ovulate for merely 24 hours each year, and calves must stand and run within 15 minutes of birth. The lioness lies low, her gaze fixed on the dispersing herd. Patience remains the supreme virtue for the apex predator of the plains. The savanna waits for no one. As the sun climbs, the battle for survival between fangs and hooves enters its most ruthless phase. High noon has arrived. Heat waves quiver above the plains, distorting the horizon into a shimmering, fractured mirror. A pride of lionesses, all blood-related sisters, has reconvened under the shade after hours of dispersal. Today's objective: a herd of wildebeest grazing leisurely. A diurnal het is a lion's greatest gamble. The terrain is utterly exposed, lacking shadows, allowing prey to detect movement from hundreds of yards away. This pride does not rely on surprise. They depend on coordination honed over thousands of generations. The pride splits into two flanks. One circles wide to the left, another closes in from the right. It is a pincer movement, a strategy each lioness has memorized since her maiden hunt. Every individual maintains a fixed role across successive hunts. The drivers on the outer edges are inherently swifter, while the ambusher in the center is exceptionally powerful and resolute. Both flanks press inward, suffocating the prey's escape routes. The central lioness lies perfectly still in the grass, awaiting the decisive moment. A lioness can achieve 37 miles per hour during a sprint rapid, but solely over brief distances. Each lunge requires absolute precision, for second chances are virtually non-existent. Yet one individual veers off course. A hesitation of less than a second is enough for the central ambusher to intercept. Jaws lock tightly around the windpipe. This strangulation hold may last up to 10 minutes before the quarry ceases struggling entirely. A solitary lion succeeds in roughly 17% of its hunts. However, utilizing coordinated pack tactics beneath the glaring sun doubles that rate, though a guarantee remains elusive. Silence descends. The hunt has concluded. The pride gathers around their prize. Hierarchy dictates order. The dominant females feed first, while the rest follow sequentially. No squabbling, no breaking rank. Yet dining under the harsh sun exacts a toll. A large carcass on the open plains is visible from miles away, and every scavenger on the savannah has registered the summons. Within mere minutes, the initial dark silhouettes begin circling overhead. The true contest for this carcass has only just commenced. Out on the open plains, no meal belongs solely to the victor. Savannah law demands that every fallen beast nourish far more mouths than the one that dealt the killing blow. But not every predator roaming the Masai Mara relies on overwhelming pack power. Less than 2 miles from the feeding lions, a pair of black-backed jackals is imparting life's first survival lesson to their pups. The black-backed jackal is among the rare carnivores that maintain a lifelong monogamous bond, a commitment broken only by death. Once a mate is chosen, they never stray, even if one becomes wounded, frail, or stripped of every advantage on the plains. However, the duty of rearing offspring does not fall solely upon the parents. Juveniles from previous litters, typically 1 to 2 years old, voluntarily remain at the den to guard and nurture their younger siblings. This cooperative breeding system is exceptionally rare within the mammalian kingdom, and it elevates offspring survival rates to astonishing levels compared to species reliant on solitary parents. At midday, the adult male departs the den first. His target, a young Thompson's gazelle, concealed in the dry grass barely half a mile away. A black-backed jackal's nose possesses an extraordinary ability to dissect airborne scents with pinpoint accuracy, even as unpredictable winds sweep across the savanna. The hunt unfolds in absolute silence. No roars resound, no heavy footfalls echo. Nevertheless, dining on the spot is a luxury black-backed jackals never afford themselves. The sustenance must be transported back to the den, where the pups eagerly await every passing second. At the den's entrance, the male lowers his head and expels half-digested food, a behavior known as regurgitation, allowing parents to ferry nutrients without pouches or tools. The pups jostle for the meal amid high-pitched yips. The older siblings stand guard nearby, ears. In the black-backed jackal's realm, loyalty is not a moral virtue. It is the most effective survival strategy evolution has ever sculpted over millions of years. Returning to the site recently abandoned by the lion pride, the sky has entirely transformed its complexion. Dozens of broad, dark wings slowly spiral overhead, riding the thermal columns rising from the parched earth. The vultures have arrived. A vulture's stomach is among the most extreme digestive engines nature has ever engineered. With a pH nearing 1.0, it is highly corrosive, potent enough to dissolve bones and lethal pathogens. This hostile environment obliterates most deadly bacteria, including Bacillus anthracis, the cause of anthrax, and Clostridium botulinum, responsible for botulism, effectively turning the vulture's gut into a microbiological incinerator. However, vultures are not invincible. Should they ingest a massive concentration of preformed botulinum toxin from a decaying carcass, they can still succumb to severe poisoning. On the plains, a vulture's role transcends the image of a simple scavenger. They are the ecological sanitation crew, halting disease outbreaks before pathogens can contaminate vital water sources. A flock of vultures can strip a large carcass clean in mere hours, exponentially faster than any microbial decomposition process nature could orchestrate. Yet today, the vultures are not the sole attendants awaiting their share of the carcass. A tall, gaunt figure stands motionless at the edge of the fray, observing with unblinking eyes and a beak resembling a dagger. A latecomer that never leaves empty-handed, the marabou stork. The marabou stork, the undertaker bird of the savanna, boasts a wingspan of up to 9.5 feet, ranking among the broadest of all living avian species. Its bald head is no aesthetic flaw. It represents an immaculate evolutionary design. Being featherless prevents bacteria from clinging when it thrusts its head deep into rotting viscera. Beneath its neck dangles a pink gular sac, often mistaken for a food pouch. In reality, it serves to regulate body temperature and produce low-frequency vocalizations to attract a mate during breeding season. The marabou stork does not hunt in the traditional sense. Its strategy is ruthlessly straightforward. Wait, observe, then intercede using its superior size. Standing over 5 feet tall, wielding a long, razor-sharp bill, the marabou does not hesitate to snatch a morsel straight from a vulture's mouth in broad daylight. The vultures protest, but they are physically outmatched. The marabou unfurls its massive wings and takes a decisive step forward. The vultures retreat. Out here, whoever possesses the larger frame typically claims the final bite, a simple yet immutable law. Even so, the marabou knows there are boundaries that should never be crossed, where size ceases to be an advantage and where the true counter-attackers lie in wait. Because on the Masai Mara, supremacy is not solely the domain of teeth and claws. Certain seemingly docile creatures harbor enough destructive force to upend every convention. And the first among them, peculiarly enough, is a bird. The Kori bustard, Africa's heaviest flying bird. An adult male can weigh up to 40 pounds, boasting a 9-foot wingspan, a colossal frame that nature, by some miracle, still permits to lift off the ground. But flight is not its forte. For 75% of the day, the Kori bustard strides on stout legs, snapping up insects, lizards, and even small snakes along its path. On the vast plains, a 40-pound bird walking on the ground sounds like a free meal for any prowling predator. Yet the Kori bustard is no easy conquest. When cornered, it puffs its plumage, raises its crest, opens its beak wide, and emits a low growl sufficient to give small assailants second thoughts. Those sturdy legs deliver forceful kicks, combined with pecks from a rock-hard beak capable of driving away zebras and antelopes at communal waterholes. The breeding season is when the Kori bustard reveals the full extent of the extraordinary spectacle hidden within its muscular physique. Males establish display territories on open ridges, a system known as an exploded leg, where each individual commands a private stage spaced hundreds of yards apart. Accompanying this is sound, deep, resonant booms echoing over the parched plains, like war drums from a long-lost era. The male paces slowly, each step majestic. No rushing, no panic. Every movement serves as a declaration of vigor and genetic legacy. However, this breathtaking display is also when the Kori bustard is most vulnerable. Engrossed in showing off, he may fail to notice an adversary approaching from behind. Following the mating season, the males vanish without a trace. They neither incubate eggs nor raise the young. The entire burden falls solely on the female, shouldering it amidst the perilous plains. In this realm, timing dictates everything, and the Cory bustard has mastered a crucial evolutionary lesson: weaponize bulk and turn the ground into a fortress. But if the Cory bustard is a bird that remains grounded out of necessity, another species has forsaken the sky entirely, transforming its legs into instruments of death. The common ostrich, the planet's largest avian species, and the swiftest bipedal creature nature has ever produced. An adult ostrich can hit velocities of 43 miles per hour in short bursts and sustain 37 miles per hour over long distances without showing the slightest hint of fatigue. Each stride spans from 10 to 16 feet, making the ostrich an astoundingly enduring athlete, creation's most formidable bipedal evolution. The secret lies in leg biomechanics. All muscle mass is concentrated high in the thighs, keeping the lower limbs lightweight and nimble. They operate like a biological spring system, where massive tendons continuously store and release energy. Yet speed is merely their first resort. When backed into a corner, the ostrich ceases fleeing. The kick is directed solely forward and downward, but with a force estimated at up to 2,000 pounds per square inch, a single blow is enough to shatter the skull of any assailant. Even the lion, the savanna's supreme overlord, knows that confronting an adult ostrich head-on is a gamble where the wager could be its very life. Amid the midday heat, an ostrich mother guards her clutch on the open plains. 12 eggs, each weighing around 3 pounds, the largest in the entire avian world. The shell is so thick, it requires a force equivalent to 40 pounds to breach a natural shield against most petty thieves on the savannah. The male stands several hundred feet away, looming nearly 9 feet tall, his eyes the largest of any terrestrial animal, methodically surveying every tuft of grass. A spotted hyena emerges at the edge of his vision. Its footsteps are unhurried but fiercely intentional, heading straight for the nest. The mother does not abandon her clutch. She lowers her long neck flat against the earth, a camouflage tactic that leads many to falsely believe ostriches bury their heads in the sand. The hyena draws closer. 20 feet, 15, 10. The ostrich mother springs up. Her wings span over 6 feet wide, not for flight, but to magnify her physical presence. Her long neck extends skyward, and a deep, guttural boom resonates from deep within her chest. The spotted hyena freezes. The creature looming before it is not a meal, it is a genuine, lethal threat. The hyena turns and departs. Today, it chooses life. The mother returns to her nest, folding her wings like a blanket over her eggs, the final bulwark between life and death beneath the midday sun. By day, the grayish-brown mother incubates, blending seamlessly into the arid landscape. By night, the jet-black male takes the watch, dissolving into the darkness as if he never existed. On the Masai Mara, the mightiest does not always triumph. Sometimes, the victor is simply the one who refuses to run away. Beneath the blistering heat, the line between life and death grows exceptionally frail. Demise strikes silently. Dominion in the wild is not dictated solely by sharpened fangs and unsheathed claws. A desperate counterstrike can utterly crush a tyrant's skull. Welcome to WildVerse, where we uncover the natural world's most extraordinary sagas. Dawn has yet to graze the acacia canopy, but atop a termite mound rising 3 feet above the plains, the silhouette already stands motionless. The topi, the first sentinel of the Masai Mara. Horns curving gracefully backward, 4 hooves firmly planted on the cracked earth. Its eyes slowly sweep across the sun-bleached stalks below. The topi ranks among Africa's swiftest antelopes, capable of reaching. Yet velocity is not its sole advantage. Laterally positioned eyes grant nearly 360-degree vision, the reason an entire herd entrusts its survival to a lone individual on a mound. From this vantage, the topi spots what the ground obscures, a pale, tawny shadow shift. A lioness. An alarm snort rings out sharp and concise, piercing the air like a starting pistol. The herd erupts, scattering in every direction within an instant. The Masai Mara, an expanse of over 580 square miles in East Africa, where each sunrise yields more than light. However, this savanna does not belong exclusively to the lions. Every inhabitant here, from a vigilant topi atop a mound to an ostrich delivering a skull-shattering kick, possesses a unique survival protocol. And that doctrine contains but a single edict: never surrender. For the topi, every surviving day carries the weight of a generation. Females ovulate for merely 24 hours each year, and calves must stand and run within 50. The lioness lies low, her gaze fixed on the dispersing herd. Patience remains the supreme virtue for the apex predator. The savannah waits for no one. As the sun climbs, the battle for survival between fangs and hooves enters it. High noon has arrived. Heat waves quiver above the plains, distorting the horizon into a shimmering, fractured mirror. A pride of lionesses, all blood-related sisters, has reconvened under the shade after hours of dispersal. Today's objective, a herd of wildebeest grazing leisurely. A diurnal het is a lion's greatest gamble. The terrain is utterly exposed, lacking shadows, allowing prey to detect movement from hundreds of yards away. This pride does not rely on surprise. They depend on coordination honed over thousands of generations. The pride splits into two flanks. One circles wide to the left, another closes in from the right. It is a pincer movement, a strategy each lioness has memorized since her maiden hunt. Every individual maintains a fixed role across successive hunts. Both flanks press inward. A lioness can achieve 37 miles per hour during a sprint rapid. The silt-laden, murky water churns beneath the afternoon sun, carrying dark red mud from distant hills upstream. Yet one individual veers off course. A hesitation of less than a second is enough for the central ambusher to intercept. Jaws lock tightly around the windpipe. This strangulation hold. A solitary lion succeeds in roughly 17% of its hunts. However, utilizing coordinated pack tactics beneath the glaring sun doubles that rate, though a guarantee remains. Silence descends. The hunt has concluded. The pride gathers around their prize. Hierarchy dictates order. The dominant females feed first, while the rest. Yet dining under the harsh sun exacts a toll. A large carcass on the open plains is visible from miles away, and every scavenger. Within mere minutes, the initial dark silhouettes begin circling overhead. The true contest for this carcass has only just commenced. Out on the open plains, no meal belongs solely to the victor. Savanna law demands that every fallen beast nourish far more mouths than the one that dealt the killing blow. But not every predator roaming the Masai Mara relies on overwhelming pack power. Less than 2 miles from the feeding lions, a pair of black-backed jackals is imparting life's first survival lesson to their pups. The black-backed jackal is among the rare carnivores that maintain a lifelong monogamous bond, a commitment broken only by death. Once a mate is chosen, they never stray, even if one becomes wounded, frail, or stripped of every advantage on the plains. However, the duty of rearing offspring does not fall solely. This cooperative breeding system is at midday, the adult male departs the den first. His target, a young Thompson's gazelle, concealed in the dry grass barely half a mile away. A black-backed jackal's nose possesses an extraordinary ability to dissect airborne scents with pinpoint accuracy, even as unpredictable winds sweep across the savanna. The hunt unfolds in absolute silence. No roars resound, no heavy footfalls echo. There are only feather-light steps But not every ambush concludes according to the crocodile's desired script. Nevertheless, dining on the spot is a luxury black-backed jackals never afford themselves. The sustenance must be transported back to the den, where the pups eagerly... At the den's entrance, the male lowers his head and expels half-digested food, a behavior known as regurgitation, allowing parents to ferry nutrients without pouches or... The pups jostle for the meal amid high-pitched yips. The older siblings stand guard nearby, ears... In the black-backed jackal's realm, loyalty is not a moral virtue. It is the most effective survival strategy evolution has ever sculpted over millions of years. Returning to the site recently abandoned by the lion pride, dozens of broad, dark wings slowly spiral overhead, riding the thermal columns rising from the parched earth. A vulture's stomach is among the most extreme digestive engines nature has ever engineered. With a pH nearing 1.0, it is highly corrosive, potent enough to dissolve bones and lethal pathogens. This hostile environment obliterates most deadly bacteria, including Bacillus anthracis, the cause of anthrax, and Clostridium botulinum, responsible for botulism. However, vultures are not invincible. Should they ingest a massive concentration of preformed botulinum toxin from a decaying carcass, they can still succumb to severe poisoning. On the plains, a vulture's role transcends the image of a simple scavenger. They are the ecological sanitation crew, halting disease outbreaks before pathogens can contaminate vital water sources. A flock of vultures can strip a large carcass clean in mere hours, exponentially faster than any microbial decomposition process nature could orchestrate. Yet today, the vultures are not the sole attendants awaiting their share of the carcass. A tall, gaunt figure stands motionless at the edge of the fray, observing with unblinking eyes and a beak resembling a dagger. A latecomer that never leaves empty-handed, the marabou stork. The marabou stork, the undertaker bird of the savannah, boasts a wingspan of up to 9.5. Its bald head is no aesthetic flaw. It represents an immaculate evolutionary design. Beneath its neck dangles a pink gular sac, often mistaken for a food pouch. In reality, it serves to regulate The marabou stork does not hunt in the traditional sense. Its strategy is ruthlessly straightforward. Wait, observe, then intercede using its superior size. Standing over 5 feet tall, wielding a long, razor-sharp bill, the marabou does not hesitate to snatch a morsel straight from The vultures protest, but they are physically outmatched. The marabou unfurls its massive wings and takes a decisive step forward. The vultures retreat. Out here, whoever possesses the larger frame typically claims the final bite, a simple yet immutable law. Even so, the marabou knows there are boundaries that should never be crossed, where size ceases. Because on the Masai Mara, supremacy is not solely the domain of teeth and claws. Certain seemingly docile creatures harbor enough destructive force to and the first among them, peculiarly enough, is a bird. The Kori bustard, Africa's heaviest flying bird. An adult male can weigh up to 40 pounds. boasting a 9-foot wingspan, a colossal frame that nature, by some But flight is not its forte. For 75% of the day, the Cory bustard strides on stout legs. On the vast plains, a 40-pound bird walking on the ground sounds like a free meal for any prowling predator. The breeding season is when the Cory bustard reveals the full extent of the extraordinary spectacle hidden within its muscular physique. Males establish display territories on open ridges, a system known as an exploded leg, where each individual commands a private stage. And beneath the acacia canopy where the owl stands guard, the Masai Mara savanna sinks into a rare interval of silence between two shifts. Yet not every creature sleeps. Atop the familiar termite mound, a silhouette stands motionless beneath the starry sky. The topi, the sentinel, we met at dawn. Accompanying this is sound, deep, resonant booms echoing over the parched plains, like war drums from a long-lost era. The male paces slowly, each step majestic. No rushing. No. However, this breathtaking display is also when the Cory bustard is most vulnerable. Engrossed in showing off, he may fail to notice an adversary approaching from behind. Following the mating season, the males vanish without a trace. They neither incubate eggs nor raise the young. The entire burden falls solely on the female, shouldering it amidst the perilous plains. In this realm, timing dictates everything, and the Cory bustard has mastered a crucial evolutionary lesson. But if the Cory bustard is a bird that remains grounded out of the common ostrich, the planet's largest avian species, and the swiftest bipedal creature nature has ever produced. An adult ostrich can hit velocities of 43 miles per hour in short bursts and sustain 37 miles per hour over long distances without showing the slightest hint of fatigue. Each stride spans from 10 to 16 feet, making the ostrich an astoundingly enduring athlete, creation's most formidable bipedal evolution. The secret lies in leg biomechanics. All muscle mass is concentrated high in the thighs, keeping the lower limbs lightweight and nimble. They operate like a biological spring system. Yet speed is merely their first resort. When backed into a corner, the ostrich ceases fleeing. The kick is directed solely forward and downward, but with a force estimated at up to 2,000 pounds per square inch, a single blow is enough to shatter the skull. Even the lion, the savannah's supreme overlord, knows that confronting an adult ostrich head-on is a gamble where the wager could be its very life. Amid the midday heat, an ostrich mother guards her clutch on the open plains. 12 eggs, each weighing around The shell is so thick it requires a force equivalent to 40 pounds to breach a natural shield against most petty thieves on the savannah. The male stands several hundred feet away, looming nearly 9 feet tall, his eyes the largest of any. The weak must keep running. And that cycle will never stop. On the grasslands of Queen Elizabeth, where the morning mist has yet to lift, 4 lionesses move, in single file, shoulders low, bellies grazing the earth, eyes locked on a single target. Ahead of them, a herd of Cape buffalo forms a crescent. Bulls weighing over 2,000 pounds hold the front line, curved horns like scythes aimed directly at the attackers. This is not a chase, this is a confrontation between 2 survival strategies honed over millions of years. Lions, the only social species among the great cats, stake everything on collective tactics. 90% of all hunts are carried out by the females. Cape buffalo, a fortress of muscle and horn, answer with the power of the herd. When threatened, the entire group turns back to rescue their own. A lioness charges. The buffalo do not run. They counterattack. A bull tosses the lioness into the air, horns twisting with enough force to shatter bone. In this land, even the hunter can become the hunted. Uganda, a land straddling the equator of East Africa, where tropical rainforests cast their shadow over sun-scorched savannas, and the continent's largest freshwater lake meets an endless expanse of swamp. This is a place where everything runs to extremes, from temperature to competition, from drought to flood. Where the Rwenzori Mountains rise over 16,400 feet along the equator, their peaks capped in year-round snow, a geographical paradox that belongs to Uganda alone. And only one law governs all: adapt or vanish. How does one adapt when every corner of this land poses an entirely different challenge, when the fastest are still caught and the strongest still fall? The answers lie scattered across every habitat, from rivers, where time stands still, to canopies, where intelligence decides everything. And the journey begins where water rules all on the banks of the White Nile, where an ancient predator is waiting. It has been waiting for 80 million years. A few more hours make no difference. The White Nile, a river that flows in silence through the heart of Uganda. Beneath the surface, two clouded yellow eyes emerge motionless as stones. Nile crocodile. Its design has remained virtually unchanged since the age of dinosaurs because there is no need to alter what is already perfect. Stretching up to 16 feet, weighing over 1,500 pounds, a machine refined by evolution for a single purpose: waiting. On the riverbank, the crocodile lies frozen in the mud. Not a single muscle twitches across its body. Only the vertical pupils rotate slow, tracking every movement on the shore. A herd of Uganda kob approaches the water's edge. They drink hurriedly, eyes sweeping the surroundings without pause. Ancient instinct warns them that danger always lurks here. The crocodile is in no rush. It knows that haste is the privilege of the weak. Then the moment arrives. A kob lowers its head too far. The water erupts. In less than 1/10 of a second, the crocodile's jaws snap shut with a bite force reaching 5,000 psi, the most powerful in the animal kingdom. Enough force to crush the femur of a full-grown Cape buffalo. The kob never stood a chance. The crocodile rolls beneath the surface, spinning in its death roller technique this reptile has perfected since the era when dinosaurs still walked the earth. An extraordinary low metabolic rate allows the crocodile to fast for months between meals. A single large kill can sustain it for weeks. And between those feedings, it continues lying still, waiting and watching. Where water and land converge, patience is not merely a virtue, it is the ultimate weapon. The current carries blood and mud downstream, flowing into the Kazinga Channel, a 20-mile ribbon of water linking Lake Edward and Lake George, cutting through the heart of Queen Elizabeth National Park. This is home to the highest concentration of hippopotamuses on the planet. If the crocodile conquers the water through stillness, the next creature conquers through absolute dominion. The hippopotamus, despite its sluggish appearance, kills more people than any other large animal in Africa, an estimated 500 human lives every year. They do not attack out of hunger. They graze, consuming up to 88 pounds of grass each night along the riverbanks. They attack to defend territory. By day, they submerge to protect their sensitive skin. By night, they venture ashore to feed. 2 worlds, 1 creature. Hippo skin secretes a reddish mucus, once mistakenly called blood sweat. It is in truth a natural sunscreen and antibacterial shield. They do not truly swim. Their bodies are too heavy and dense to float. Instead, they walk along the riverbed, propelling themselves forward with powerful kicks against the mud. On land, reaching speeds of nearly 19 miles per hour in short bursts, a hippo can outrun any human being. Its jaws open to nearly 90 degrees, revealing 2 lower canines up to 20 inches long. That is not a warning, that is a declaration of war. Along the Kazinga Channel, hundreds of hippos crowd into every stretch of water, each bull defending a section of river with bellows that send tremors across the surface. When 2 bulls dispute territory, jaws gape wide. Teeth clash with terrifying force, blood stains the current red. Many of these battles end in death. Beside the hippopods, crocodiles lie motionless on the bank, 2 species sharing the same water, yet respecting each other's boundaries. Even the Nile crocodile keeps its distance from an adult hippo. Water and land, day and night. The hippopotamus does not choose one, it conquers both. And anyone who ventures too close pays the price. Beyond the Kazinga Channel, water spreads into the northern marshlands, where papyrus reeds tower above head height and mist hangs suspended in mid-air. Mabamba, swamp, so silent that the beating of dragonfly wings can be heard. And within that stillness, a figure stands motionless, nearly 5 feet tall, with a wingspan stretching over 7.5 feet. The shoebill, a creature many call a living dinosaur. Its enormous bill measures nearly 10 inches long, edges sharp as blades, a weapon designed to kill in a single strike. If the crocodile ambushes beneath the waterline, the shoebill is its perfect counterpart, an ambush predator hiding in broad daylight, transforming itself into part of the landscape. It can remain motionless for hours on end, no movement, no blinking, no shift in posture until the lungfish beneath its feet drops its guard. Then everything ends in an instant. A single lunge, the bill snapping shut with devastating precision. The success rate approaches perfection. Worldwide, only an estimated 3,300 to 5,300 individuals remain. Uganda is their last stronghold, where roughly 1,000 of the world's final shoebills hold their ground. From river to channel to swamp, 3 aquatic habitats, 3 rulers, 3 entirely different strategies for conquering the same element. The crocodile waits through concealment. The hippo dominates through brute aggression. The shoebill conquers through absolute specialization. The kingdom of water has revealed its first lesson. Along a single river, no strategy is the only right one, only the strategy best suited to the creature that wields it. On the far bank, where parched earth stretches to the horizon, an entirely different arms race is unfolding. And there, patience is no longer an option. TTA. If the underwater world of Uganda fascinates you as much as it does us, share your thoughts in the comments below. On the parched ground above the riverbank, a pair of yellow eyes tracks a herd of antelope from the crown of a fig tree. The African leopard, not the fastest, not the strongest, not the most numerous, perhaps the most dangerous creature in the shadows. Weighing between 66 and 200 pounds, the leopard is nearly 4 times smaller than a lion. That matters not at all because its strategy was never about strength. Its strategy is to become invisible. A golden amber coat, dappled with hundreds of rosettes, each one a masterwork of camouflage that evolution has sculpted over tens of millions of years. Among the mottled light and shadow of the canopy, the leopard vanishes completely. Even prey standing less than 30 feet away cannot detect the death perched above their heads. The leopard hunts alone. No pack, no collective tactics. Every hunt is a gamble, and the success rate hovers around 20%. Nature compensates with raw power, concealed within a compact frame. A single precise bite to the nape, severing the spinal cord before the victim can react. And then, something astonishing unfolds. The leopard hauls its kill, weighing 3 times its own body weight, up into the tree, beyond the reach of any lion or hyena. On the gnarled fig branch, the meal hangs suspended safe from every thief. A larder in the sky, a survival invention that belongs to the leopard alone. A male's territory spans from 8 to over 40 square miles, patrolled by scent, by claw marks scored into bark, by a deep rumbling call that resonates through the night. From thick forest to open savanna, from highland to lowland, the leopard thrives everywhere, because the invisible are not bound by terrain. Beneath the canopy, a herd of impala grazes on tender shoots. Their eyes never stop scanning, because they know that somewhere in the dappled shade, death is watching. Impala appear across every savanna in Uganda by the thousands, and there is a clear reason for that. On the menu of lions, leopards, and African wild dogs, impala always hold the top position. They are the target of nearly every predator on the grasslands. What, then, keeps this antelope alive when the entire world wants to eat it? The answer lies in the hind legs. An impala can leap 10 feet into the air and 33 feet forward, in a single bound the height of a one-story building and the length of a city bus. When a leopard explodes from the brush, the impala herd detonates in every direction, dozens of bodies launching skyward, creating a labyrinth of motion that no predator can track. That is not panic. That is tactics encoded in instinct across countless generations of natural selection. The leopard vanishes to kill. The impala erupts to survive. The more refined the predator, the more flawless the prey must become. An arms race without end on the grasslands of Uganda. Among the scattering impala, another formation holds its ranks not fleeing in chaos, but galloping as one solid mass. The zebra has evolved the most controversial solution in modern biology: stripes. For decades, scientists believed the black and white pattern created a visual disruption effect, preventing predators from isolating a single individual when the herd moves as one. Research in 2019 by Dr. Tim Caro of the University of California, Davis overturned that hypothesis. Stripes, according to Caro, evolved primarily to repel tsetse flies, insects that carry the parasites responsible for deadly sleeping sickness. Tsetse flies avoid striped surfaces because uneven light reflections disrupt their navigational systems. Even so, the herd camouflage effect remains undeniable. When 30 zebras gallop together at full speed, the boundaries between individuals dissolve. The moving mass becomes a single enormous organism, and the lion cannot identify a point of attack. The stallion leads each family unit, guarding 3 to 5 mares and their foals. He holds the most dangerous position, the rear, directly facing the pursuer. Alongside the zebra, taupe antelope with their burnished reddish-brown coats and lyre-shaped horns move in tandem, 2 species sharing the same herd strategy across the same grasslands. Taupe reach speeds of up to 43 miles per hour, among the fastest antelope in Africa. That speed means the most when paired with collective vigilance. Zebras also possess an advantage few would expect: a hindgut fermenter digestive system that allows them to process the coarsest grasses, the kind that impala and every other antelope species ignore. When the dry season drives every species from the barren plains, zebras still find food. They eat what no one else will eat, and that is precisely what keeps them alive. The impala outruns death. The zebra turns the herd into a shield. One species needs neither speed nor numbers, only height. The savanna opens wide, and the tallest silhouettes on the planet emerge against the horizon, silent, stately, untouchable. The Rothschild's giraffe, the tallest land creature alive, a living symbol of vertical adaptation. Standing up to 18 feet tall, a full-grown adult gazes down upon the world from a vantage point no other herbivore can reach. That height is not merely a measurement, it is a survival weapon. When the dry season sweeps across Murchison Falls, low-hanging foliage vanishes within weeks, stripped bare by hundreds of competing grazers. The acacia canopy at 16 feet remains untouched. Only the giraffe can reach it. They wield a tongue stretching 18 inches long, as dexterous as a hand, capable of wrapping around the sharpest thorns without injury. That dark tongue is packed with concentrated melanin, a natural sunscreen that shields it through hours of feeding beneath the equatorial sun. Height carries a cost. To pump blood up to a brain more than 6.5 feet above the heart, the giraffe's heart weighs up to 25 pounds, the largest of any land animal. When bending to drink, blood surges toward the head with pressure that would rupture vessels in any other species. A specialized system of arterial valves automatically engages, preventing blood from flooding the brain. That biological engineering has been studied by aerospace engineers to design pressure suits for fighter pilots. The giraffe also possesses lethal front legs. A single kick generates enough force to knock down a full-grown lion. Males compete for mates by swinging their necks like battering rams against each other, a ritual known as necking a contest that can last hours and end in unconsciousness. At Murchison Falls, the Rothschild's population has recovered to over 1,500 individuals from just a few hundred in the 1990s. A rare conservation story with a hopeful ending, though the battle is far from over. The dry season does not only take food, it takes water. And when the earth cracks and streams run dry, most herbivores crowd around the last remaining pools where crocodiles and lions wait. The eland has no need to go there. Africa's largest antelope, a mature bull weighing up to 2,000 pounds, bigger than a warhorse. Great spiraling horns, shoulders humped like a bison, footfall so heavy the ground trembles. Looking at them, few would believe this is an antelope. That massive frame conceals the most sophisticated adaptation in the antelope family, the ability to survive when water disappears entirely. Eland extract moisture from the plants they eat, leaves, wild fruit, succulent roots. Their bodies retain water so efficiently they can go weeks without drinking a single drop. Their core body temperature can fluctuate by up to 13 degrees Fahrenheit without harm, minimizing water loss through perspiration. When all others give up, the eland keeps walking. Not fast, not glamorous, but enduring beyond belief. The speed of the impala, the herd of the zebra, the height of the giraffe, the endurance of the eland. Each species changes itself to match the world. One species chose the opposite path, entirely changing the world to match itself. The African elephant, the greatest architect nature has ever produced. A single adult consumes up to 440 pounds of vegetation per day, and in the process of feeding, it destroys, yet that very destruction is an act of creation. When an elephant topples a large tree, sunlight floods the forest floor where grass seeds dormant for years begin to germinate. New grassland is born from the wreckage. Zebras, antelope, and dozens of other grazers arrive benefiting from the landscape the elephant unwittingly sculpted. They feast at a table the elephant has set. During the dry season, when rivers and streams run dry, elephants use their tusks and trunks to dig wells in the earth, reaching underground water sources no other species can access. Those wells sustain hundreds of creatures from small birds to antelope. The elephant does not merely inhabit an ecosystem, it redesigns it. The matriarch, the elder female who leads the herd, carries within her memory a map of water sources, migration routes, and danger zones spanning hundreds of square miles. That memory is passed down through generations. Losing a matriarch does not mean losing a single animal. It means losing the entire library of survival knowledge for the herd. When a member of the family dies, the remaining elephants stand around the body for hours, touching the fallen with their trunks. Scientists call it a mourning ritual, evidence of an awareness of death. Elephants communicate through infrasound low-frequency sound waves, transmitted through the ground that no human ear can detect. They sense these signals through their feet, connecting with others more than 6 miles away. A wireless communication network evolved long before humans invented the telephone. Elephant dung disperses seeds across the savanna. More than 60 species of trees depend on elephants for reproduction. Lose the elephants, and the forests change irreversibly. An average herd numbers 8 to 15 individuals, held together by unbreakable matrilineal bonds. Females remain with the herd for life. Males depart upon reaching maturity. Changing the world instead of changing oneself. That is the highest form of adaptation on the grasslands and the reason elephants are called ecosystem architects. From the patient crocodile on the riverbank to the elephant reshaping the savanna, Uganda has proven that on land and water alike, every life is an answer to the same question. And in the shadows of the forest canopy, where light seldom touches the ground, that answer takes an entirely different form.